I'm working on a story called Fairy Frenzy, and it takes place in a fantasy world, specifically a fantasy high school, and thus I need to design said building. And I did not know what to do. Decided to do some sort of thing which they're like it's built on top of each other, and they kind of have a floating mechanism where they can separate and then come back in, and they become kind of this columny thing. That was my first idea, and then I didn't like it, so yeah, I did a bunch of work with designing it and putting in the sketch phase and all of that. And then I decided it looked a bit too artificial, because I kind of wanted to still have a naturey feel to it, since it takes place in the middle of the woods, as well as it's kind of like fantasy, as in the main characters are fairies. Is it because I got salty about Winx Club becoming like the edgy dark thing, which I would have liked, because I like edgy dark things and I like Winx Club, and then it's not what it could have been. So I've kind of just gone, you know what, I'm gonna do it myself, but different, because I'm not gonna rip everything off. So I couldn't figure out what I wanted the color palette to be for the school or anything like that. I was thinking like some bluey thing for the levitating magic-y layers and stuff like that, and then stone for everything else, like a stonish color, and a bit of like a teal blue or matching blue for the door, something like that. And then I completely scrapped it because I hated it. So we're starting over, and to be fair, I didn't actually finish this one either. This is what I started this process last year. Yeah, sure, it was December, but it was still last year. And I haven't made the video because I haven't finished, but also I've kind of running out of stuff, because designing characters takes a long time, and I have other things I need to be doing as well. But I went back to the drawing books, and I saw a few like houses or huts, or like large huts and tree houses on Tumblr, and they kind of looked like mushrooms, and I thought that, combined with the floating element, because they can fly, so you know they would have floating buildings, at least for school purposes. So if they can have like huts or like slightly mushroom-esque like roofs, and then that makes sense, and that looks more naturey. I can make them be built out of wood, and yes, one of the roofs is leaning. I have an in-universe reason for that, which I will not go into detail because I don't know how to word it properly. So I'm currently kind of smushing everything in there, probably a bit more laid out, I guess, a bit more room. But I kind of want to have everything in this picture so that I can see them, and I basically have the shape. They're probably also not true to size in this version, because honestly this is just me experimenting and hoping for the best that they work and everything works. That is why I put arrows everywhere, to be like, okay brain, this is what everything is for the future, because I forget some things every so often. I did do a bit of a skip with the line art, forgot to record, so that's what happened, and it was a bit messy. So I'm figuring out which type of what type of wood it's supposed to be, the trees and stuff like that. And then we come to the color palette issue again, and what to do with the roofs and how to make them look good and stuff like that. Again, this is supposed to be like me experimenting and figuring things out. I decided that I kind of wanted the roof and the platforms to be like places you can walk on, so it's kind of a garden in a way. So the roof as well as the platforms have like grass and flowers and stuff like that. So in addition to actually figuring out the layout of everything and the external appearance, I also need to be considerate about the internal appearance as well as story elements that I need to make sure fit in. Now, for that, I'm currently trying to figure out what the color palette for each of the platforms is going to be, because in my head I'm kind of having each platform is for a different school year, and each platform has their own like flower with their own color palette. Well, yeah, pretty much. And what I wanted to be able to do is make the colors like match for all of them together, and that's the color palette thing coming into play. So I started with orange for some reason. I do not know why. I just did. So we're going with that, but it's going to change because I'm gonna change that the top one to white painstakingly, because I put the stems and the flowers on the same layer. So, you know, one of those things, the annoying ones. And I kind of realized, I actually have to come up with these plants as well, and actually figure out, like, I either have to pick a plant in real life that will fit the colors that I want, or I need to design my own plants, and some of them I already have and have made videos on some of them, not all, but some. I also did a video on like each dormitory has their own flower. They're kind of alive and almost act as like the hall monitors, quote unquote hall monitors of each school year for these, and then each like dorm, the dorm flowers function as like the dorm wardens. So yeah, plants play a big role, not a big role in adding ambience. So that's what we're working with here. The slanted one is where the majority of the story takes place, so I don't actually need to pay that much attention to everything else, but well, I do. I just need to figure out if I could just place them somewhere else, since you can move them, but still. I really like the like runway-esque looking area, the center one, because that kind of acts as lift off and like take off, as well as like landing areas, and I like that they're like that, as well as like the plants acting as almost like lights, the red ones and then going to pink. And I might not have drawn them on the computer, but I have designed them on paper, and they kind of act a bit like dandelions. But anyway, have a wonderful day, see you later, and goodbye.